All right, Ryan. Michigan State Spartans with a 35-13 victory over Western Michigan. It was 21-3 at half, which looked good. It was 21-13 after three, which didn't look good. So before I get into everything that I liked and disliked about this game and our performance, I'll let you go first. What you like, what you dislike.
So I'll be probably a little bit more glass half full than I think most people are. What I liked was we got immediate contributions from new faces, right? We had Jeremy Bernard, I think is his name, the freshman wide receiver, scored Michigan State's first touchdown on his first college snap. So I'm sure that was cool for him. But Winman, obviously, 4 sacks, the Walter Camp Defensive Player of the Week. Brule had a sack as well. Barker caught a touchdown. Broussard and Berger were, kind of the main factors in the running game for Michigan State. So all of that I liked. It seemed like they hit on a couple of their transfer portals again. I thought Amir Speed played pretty well as well, although I don't know that the secondary was tested really a whole lot. And I think even Bogle might have gotten in there for a sack. So just like a ton of contributions from guys that we literally didn't see last year because they just weren't on the team. So I thought that was all really good. What I disliked is I thought Peyton Thorne came out and I think he was just too juiced up. He was missing a lot of passes high. I know you have the numbers here, but he only completed like 50% of his passes. And for a guy who we need to take the next step up if Michigan State wants to duplicate the kind of success that they had last year, and a guy who could be a top 10-ish quarterback in the country, he didn't play like it yesterday. And I know they had some big plays and he made some nice throws there, but it just wasn't consistent enough, especially against a team that is, weaker than a lot of the teams that he's going to face, especially a lot of the defenses that he's going to face in the Big Ten. We talked about Michigan. We, of course, saw what Michigan did against a bad opponent, but their defense looked really good. And then same thing, with Ohio State holding Notre Dame to 10 points. So Peyton Thorne's going to have to play better. I think he will. Again, I think it was his first game of the season going against his dad, sort of, kind of, in the home opener. And I think he just wanted to, kind of show up and show out. Obviously, he had the really ugly interception, and Michigan State 3 times when they were inside the 40-yard line. If they missed the field goal, which you didn't like because we knew there was a field goal kicking competition battle going on, and they came in there, they missed the kick, not even close. Thorne threw an ugly interception in the red zone, and then they had a fumble in the red zone as well. Now, they still scored 35 points, but if you finish, 2 of those drives and say you take one of the touchdowns off the board still, but you get 10 points, now you're looking at 45-13, which looks a lot better than 35.
No, definitely. And, some of that was our fault. Some of it was just, perfect opportunity. That fumble being one. Look, it was a heady play by the Western Michigan defensive player. Saw that Berger, right? Is Berger number 8? I can't remember who's 8, Berger or Broussard.
Yeah.
Berger, on top of a pile of guys on his back, kind of trying to stretch for an extra yard there. The ball's just sitting right there. Dude comes in, pops it out. Real heady play by him. But that's not one you're going to see all that often, and you can bet that Berger's going to learn from that and make sure to do a little bit better job protecting the ball in weird
Carry the
ways.
ball around campus.
Yeah. I'm with you defensively. Absolutely. 7 sacks, 4 by, a UNLV transfer and Jacoby Windman. That was fantastic to see. I agree with you. Our secondary was not tested as much as it will be, obviously, for better offenses. And there's some more bad news on the defensive side that we'll talk about in a sec. Offensively, the running game looked good. Berger and Broussard looked good. You carried for over 5 yards per carry. You're doing the job we're asking you to do. Berger with a, career high now 120 yards for a touchdown on 16 carries. Also as well, Keon Coleman, the basketball football stud that came in. It looked every bit his size, big body, big catches, 4 of them for 84 yards and a touchdown. And then there's Peyton Thorne. And at times he looked awful. The offense looked anemic to start the game. We got a total of 7 yards through our first 2 drives. Did not look good. The first down of the game came by Western Michigan when, the Spartans got the ball first. That obviously should have been something that we had done first. And it just showed how bad our offense was to start. And then boom, 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 21 points. And now it's 21-3 at halftime, and we're looking rosy. And then the third quarter happened, and it's just back and forth. And yes, he completed 50% of his passes, which is not what we want. We would like a few more of those to be completed. but 4 of them were for touchdowns, only 1 for interception. I will take that ratio all day long. He wants to throw 1 pick, fine. As long as you throw 4 interceptions, 4 touchdowns to go with it, cool, not a problem. But we had higher expectations. Obviously, we played a little over under last week before the game. Just kind of take picks, and I think we both picked that his yardage total would be more than 233 yards. So there's more to be done, and I agree with you that he's playing his dad. His dad is not doing the defensive side of the ball, but he's still playing his dad. His dad's the offensive coordinator for Western Michigan now, moving his way up the ranks in college football. So he's going to be hyped up to play. And you can see the passes were a little high, a little long, the deep ball ones where, look, if you are out throwing Jaden Reed, you threw it too far. Like that boy said, he can get to it, but you threw it a little too far. Reed, not being able to come up with it, and Reed really didn't have much of a game. Again, that's, I think, more on Thorne. He got the ball around to plenty of other receivers. He didn't just focus on Reed, which I appreciate. And there was good to take away from this. And again, it is first week of college football. There's going to be sloppiness. And with transfers coming in, the way that Mel is, building this team through the transfer portal, there's going to need time for them to gel and get together to really become the team that we hope that they can become. The bad news, the defensive side of the ball, Darius Snow and Xavier Henderson. For Xavier, it's not as bad. Looks like he's going to be out for a little bit. Hopefully he's back by Washington. I don't know if we need him for the Akron game, but I think we're going to need him for the Washington game. Darius Snow, a nickelback linebacker that they really trust as far as pass coverage, has speed, able to get side to side, really a big part of what the defense could become, is out for the season. I still, for the life of me, cannot find exactly what the leg injury is, but it's got to be bad if they're saying the whole season. Mel Tucker doing the whole, coach speak of don't let anyone tell you what you can and cannot do. Maybe we'll see him to finish off the year. Maybe if it's in the, in the bowl game or whatever. But you're not going to see him for a while, if at all, this year. And that's a big loss for a secondary that was terrible, absolutely terrible last year. And so you need everything you can get to make this secondary better than it was last year. It's a big part of what we're going to do if we're going to have the season that we hope to have. The secondary has to hold up, and we're not that deep at safety. And so with Xavier Henderson being out for a couple of games, I'm hoping it's just one. Hoping it's just the one game this upcoming weekend against Akron, and he's back for when they travel across the country to play Washington. That's going to be tough for the an East Coast team to go all the way across out there and play. And we're going to need our best safety in the game if we're going to walk away with a victory. So for that side of it, it's not good news, especially with Darius Snow. It's a big loss for this Spartan defense that needs all the help they can get in the secondary.
They do need the help they can get. Again, they brought in speed. Ronald Williams, I thought, played well at the end of last year. So it looks a lot better with Xavier Henderson, because then you have 3 of the 4 spots that, again, at least me, glass being half full, I feel pretty good about if Xavier Henderson's back there. And he wasn't just a good player, he was a leader of the defense. I'm pretty sure he was a captain last year, and he was certainly the leader of the defense last year. And it was sort of surprising to see him come back to school. Not that I think he had some, tremendous NFL draft grade, but I think he certainly could have gotten drafted if he decided to enter his name, but he decided to come back to school. And I know that was a big boost for the secondary in the offseason. And now it's unknown, kind of whether you're going to get him back and for how, for how long, really. So it is of course a blow, but it'll be next man up. And again, they can rest against Akron, but against Washington is where you'll see the need for it. And then just hope you can have somebody else that, steps up, because if Henderson's not back by then they're going to have to.
And we got to give props to the man who did step up when Henderson went down, and that was Kendall Brooks. He had finished with 5 tackles and a forced fumble. He's a transfer to Michigan State from Division III North Greenville.
A hell of a smack.
Yeah. So for that next man up to perform the way he did, again, it's against, and I don't want to be disrespectful to Western Michigan, but it's against lesser competition. This is not the Big Ten opponents that we're going to face. They're not a terrible team by any means, of course not. But it is against lesser competition. But when your defense goes out there, and when a guy is an X man up and he comes out and does what you're asking and then some, you got to give him props for it. So I give props to Kendall Brooks for coming out and for doing the job and helping the Spartans get the victory. So 1-0 to start the year. So can't complain too much. Obviously, we got the win. We did cover. Even if, it was a little disappointing at times and way too close that late in the game, but we did finish strong. And they, for lack of better terms, kept chopping and, dragged Western Michigan into the deep end. 1-0 for the Michigan State Spartans. And in our next show, we will preview the upcoming game against Akron.
Hey, Ryan Griffin here. Thank you so much for watching today's episode of Griffin and Bass. Be sure to give us your thoughts in the comments below. Remember to click the bell to receive the latest notifications from DSN and subscribe for breaking news, community blogs, polls, contests, and other content.